Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, Omari JAHI Aton.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, Omari JAHI, and tonight episode, we will cover a topic pretty recent that's happened in our society. We want to talk about New Year's resolutions and why they don't stick. Why every year we make these resolutions and before February come, we done broke them. We want to have that conversation tonight. So first, let me introduce you to my co-host. We have Miss Vanessa, Miss Kim, and new to the crew, we got Miss Londa with us. Welcome to the show, you guys. I don't know what happened to Brenda. She fell off. She was here, but maybe she'll pop back on. But New Year's resolutions. Do you guys make New Year's resolutions? I know I don't.
I don't call them resolutions. I call them goals.
New Year's goals. Okay.
Yes, and things that I would like to accomplish.
Okay. Now, do you end up breaking them before?
No, because like I said, there are goals and things that I want to get done. So I try to accomplish those. Unfortunately, in 2025, it wasn't a good year, so things didn't go as planned. I didn't get a chance to accomplish what I wanted. So now in 2026, I'm reforecasting my goals.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess that's a good thing. Goals are a lot better to accomplish than resolutions.
Yes.
What's going on, V? Welcome to the show.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Yep. Good. I'm sorry I'm late.
That's cool. It's cool. We better safe here than now than never. So I guess I'm glad Brenda ain't on here because she had a fit. Because what I'm about to say, I've never made New Year's resolutions because I really don't believe anything is new. I ain't gonna get on my soapbox, but I'm just saying, if January 1st is really New Year's, then why ain't nothing new in nature? I'm speaking of naturally now. I believe you know what day I think New Year's is on? April 1st. And you know what they put on that day so you wouldn't celebrate it? April Fool's Day. So you a fool to believe that New Year's is on April 1st. I'm jumping off my soapbox now. But still, for people that do make resolutions on April 1st, why do you think it's so hard to? I mean, like people, they say, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. Or they might say, I'm gonna stop eating meat. Some people do that. Why do you think it's so hard for people, to keep their is it like Kim said, because they call them resolutions instead of goals? What do you all think?
Okay, first of all, for people who don't understand, what is a resolution? So when you say New Year's resolution, what is it? Is it a promise to yourself? Or is it something that you would like to get done? Or is it a goal? Because for me, if it's a goal, you're driven more towards their goal. You're driven to getting that goal accomplished. But if it's a resolution, it's just something that you're saying that you would like to do. Or it's just like a promise to yourself. Like I'm gonna make a resolution that I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. But again, in reality, you're not really putting forth effort to it. But if it's a goal or if it's something that you want to get accomplished, you're more determined to get that done versus a resolution, to me.
Well, I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that, but if I say it's a goal that I want to lose 30 pounds or something to that effect, and if on January 1st ain't nothing changed about me from December the 31st, I'm the same Negro January 31st that I am January the 1st.
Well,
I didn't have the willpower then. What makes you think I'm gonna have the willpower a day later?
Because that's something you set forth for yourself on the first. Meaning that's when you're gonna start whatever you said you was gonna do.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna start this day. But again, you're not really passionate or strong about it. You're just saying something. Like a lot of people do dry January.
what is that? Dry January. What is
Meaning
that?
no drinking for January. No drinking
Oh,
for
okay,
31
okay,
days.
okay.
So a lot of people are doing that now, I guess, as a resolution.
And
Instead
before
of making
February,
it a goal, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for good. So it's like when you're just doing it for 30 days, what is the purpose of that?
well, I
Just to say
mean,
you can do it?
yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Kim. I mean, but it just if I haven't built up any kind of resistance, like give you an example. I like eating cakes and cookies and chips and all that kind of stuff, right? And then the holidays amplify that stuff. You know, thanks from Thanksgiving all the way through. You junking out, you know. And then on January the 1st, all of a sudden I think that I'm about to lose 30 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever.
No, that's
You see what I'm
impossible.
saying? That's just, I mean, even, okay, for the people that go dry out in January, right? You've been drinking since since Thanksgiving, all the way through Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know, you've been drinking your butt off. And then, matter of fact, New Year's Eve, you was drunk.
Right. Oh
You
God.
see what I'm saying? And now you supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to make quit now for the month of January drinking after drinking the night before. And you actually think your body gonna let you do that. And at some point, you know what did they call it? When alcoholics they get the shakes, what they call that? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Come
Oh
on,
gosh.
Londa, help me out. You know what I'm talking about.
I
Oh
don't. I
God.
was gonna say
Withdrawal,
relapse.
withdrawal,
But
withdrawal.
Withdrawals, yes. Yes. You go through food withdrawals or sugar withdrawals, or you going through alcohol withdrawals. If you say I'm gonna stop smoking weed, now you're going through weed withdrawals. Thank you, Dimitri.
Sex withdrawal.
but
I'm giving up
those
sex.
those are
Yes, yeah,
Withdrawal.
yeah.
those
But
are addiction withdrawals. It's addiction to liquor, an addiction to sugar, an addiction to food. Like you
uh,
got an addiction to something.
yes,
So that's basically what it is. And for the my unpopular opinion, my 2026 don't start until spring either, so it's a little different. But just saying,
smart
that's
girl,
pretty
smart.
much what it is.
But I mean, when we aren't successful, now think about this. What, who, how do we start making these resolutions? Do anybody know how these resolutions got started? I mean, when we were born, they were being done. All of us. When we were born, they were doing this stuff. So, and how did it get started? And why did they start these resolutions? And now my question also after that is, and anybody can, jump on in, is what does it do to your self-confidence when you can't do the things that you say you want to do? I want to lose 20 pounds. What does it do to your confidence when in 5 days or 7 days you break down and, oh, forget it, I ate that cookie, so I might as well go ahead and eat the whole bag, and you just break down and give in? What does that do to a person?
It meant devastation.
So now,
Devastation. And that has and they I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say this and you jump right back in. And during the holiday, Thanksgiving and December is a very depressing time for people, and then after being depressed, now you got to go through this thing of breaking down your self-worth in January. I just want to throw that out there. Go ahead, V.
No, I'm just saying that's what's messed up in the first place. It's like the confidence. You're going to fall off when you make resolutions or whatever it is from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not afraid to get back on, you know what I mean? When you fall off, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you.
I
But
mean, you see what I'm saying?
yeah, I do. But don't most people, when they make these resolutions, they think that they're supposed to keep them? You see what I'm saying? If you think that I'm supposed to keep this resolution, like there are people that do this. What is this? They give up something for Lent. Y'all heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
I was
That
just
people,
going to speak on that.
that people give up stuff for Lent, and it means something. When they say these things, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up red meat for Lent. But you've been eating red meat all your life.
But then they give it up for Lent. A lot of people do that.
But can they? And then if
They
they can't,
do.
but
They
then
do.
not everybody.
Okay.
So you took my famous line because I was going to tell you, not everybody fails. Not everybody. Yeah, I was going to say that, but I kept it to myself. Not everybody fails in the New Year's resolutions either. People have transformed their bodies. They have lost weight. They have stopped eating certain things. That has happened to people too. So really, this thing is about personal journeys because people have it started at the beginning of the year, or even if they started on April 1st, they made a resolution or they made a vow or whatever you want to call it, and people have been transformed and people have stopped eating red meat. Our church goes on fast for a certain many days, and people have done that, and then some people fail, some people mess up the first couple of days, and some people get back on. This to me seems like just real life. It happens to all of us. I don't think there's anybody that's not touched by something they try. And everybody is not depressed at Christmas or during the holidays. Some people are looking forward to it, and it's their favorite time of the year for real. So, I mean, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are statistically, but I mean, everybody's different and everybody does things differently.
Well, let's really look at that, because we can sit here and argue. Well, we're not arguing. We're
Right.
having a conversation. We're having a conversation. Let me be clear. But we can have a conversation about this back and forth, and none of us really know. You can say that people aren't depressed in December. There's a lot of people that are happy. I believe that the majority, if we're talking about the percentage, and I'm really just speaking about Black people, because believe me, that's what I care about. I care about Black people. I care about other people too, but I care about Black people first. But I believe that there are a lot of depressed Black people during the holiday season in the Pacific, Thanksgiving and Christmas. During this time of the year, that there are a lot of depressed people. And there are people that are joyous, like you said, Brenda, around, but it's not the majority. This is what I'm saying. If I was to give a percentage to it, I would say that it was more like a 60-40. 60 people, the percentage of 60, however many Black people here in America, if let's say if it's 5 million Black people here in America, I'm just making up a number, and 60% of that 5 million are depressed. Then, well, for Yolanda, you need to go see a doctor and get you some pills or something. If you're depressed every damn month. I just wanted to say that since she put that out there. But anyway, if the percentage is 60% and then there's a 40% that is happy, then maybe we need to look at the difference between the people that are happy and the people that are depressed. The people that are depressed are usually depressed because they lost someone that they cared about during this time of the year. And probably the people that are happy is because they have never lost anybody during this time of the year. So I don't know how to. We could Google it. Vanessa, she the Googler.
If we're using your rationale, then the people that get depressed during the holidays because they lost someone, they're depressed right before the holidays too if they've lost someone, because I think the depression kicks in the moment you lose those people.
Yeah.
But just going back, because I was going to touch on Lent. So it is possible to give things up and stay, the course. Yolanda and I used to do that. And one year we gave up pork. Now, I don't think she went back to pork, but I gave up pork, 2000, never went back. Gave up beef 2001, 2002, never went back. So it's possible. I mean, everybody is different. You can't say, oh, everybody resolutions fail because you haven't talked to everybody.
No, I agree. You can't say everybody, but everybody that I know, all I can talk about is what I know. I hear people making resolutions all the time, and I see them breaking them all the time. I don't say nothing about it, because that's just like pouring salt on a wound, I ain't gonna say, hey, didn't you say you ain't supposed to eat no red meat?
Hey, do you see the comment? Do you see the comment?
Not while I'm talking, I can't. What did it say?
It says it can weaken a person's confidence, and however, abstinence strengthens a person's ability to pursue other goals.
Abstinence and personal
like
resolve.
Okay. When you restrain from other stuff, when you stop doing something, it strengthens the person's ability to pursue other goals.
But that's like what Kim said earlier. When you look upon a thing as a goal is a long-term thing. In contrast to this resolutions, like who was that said dry January? That was you, Kim. So you put a time period on something that might take you 2 and 3 years, to really fight and get a hold on. You putting a small time frame on it, and logic tells, which I would think it would tell us, that short time span is not enough time to wean ourselves off of red meat, wean ourselves off of alcohol, wean ourselves off of this or off of that. That's not enough time span for you to do that. So when you end up breaking it, it makes you feel like you don't have the willpower to do the things that you desire to do to improve your life. So you just stop fighting.
She called it a dry January. That I think that, Kim, if I'm wrong, isn't that they're just for the month of January? They're doing that. They're not talking about a long term. I'm not going to
just for the month.
Just for the month of January.
Right.
But I understand that, Brenda. But if you was drinking for Thanksgiving, you was drinking before Thanksgiving, then after Thanksgiving you was drinking for Christmas, then you was drinking for New Year's Eve, and you was drunk and toe off, because that's what people do on New Year's Eve. Then on January, you make a resolution that for the whole month of January, I'm not going to drink. And think about this. If
so you don't think that's possible?
Hell no, I don't think it's possible.
But it's possible.
It is possible. Some people have strong willpower. Yeah. But for the majority of people, I'm speaking. See, this is why I use the percentage thing. There are some people that can probably do it. There are. But for the majority of people, this is what I'm saying. We find ourselves in a position where we make these resolutions. We don't hold them up. We might break after 15 days, 10 days, because so-and-so birthday popped up and they having a party. It's gonna be lit, So now you got to go to so-and-so party. You trying not to drink, you drinking pop and this, that, and another. Then before you know it, somebody going to pass you a drink and then it's over.
Shot.
Shots or something like that, right? You see what I'm
Can't go
saying?
to the party.
And it's over. What was you going to say,
It's
Londa?
more about you, not your ability to, go through a resolution. That's about you. That means you don't have the willpower. And
Yes.
I mean, most of us sometimes, like you said, we do slip, but I think for most people, they try at least. And we're told that 30 days forms a habit. If we go by that, then maybe 30 days will at least start the ability to form new habits. So, I mean, at this point, I think anything is possible. You just have to stick to it.
Yolanda says she gave up pop over 15 years ago.
Yeah, she did.
That's in our group. I mean, that's who we know. That's somebody we know. That's just one person.
She gave it up for Lent. So that was like a resolution itself.
And she did it. She succeeded in it. People are succeeding in these things. Some people are succeeding in the weight loss and the stuff.
Let me ask this question.
It's happening. I mean,
go ahead, Brenda. I'm sorry.
I just want to know. So our discussion tonight is for just to see or to find out that there's not a lot of people sticking to resolutions. What is our like? Do we have an end goal? Are we trying to are we trying to help build up the numbers of people sticking to resolutions? Are we trying to give somebody some kind of hope or what is our end goal?
Well, I would think that our end goal, one, would be making awareness of the fact that there is a large number of human beings. I just use that term because I know it's more than just Black people that's having this challenge. There's a large percentage of human beings that are suffering from what we are talking about. Even though we want to talk about the people that are successful, good for them. I'm happy that they're successful. I'm talking about the people that are suffering. That's what this conversation, I believe, should be about. Why are these people suffering? Where did this thing called resolutions come from? And are we really benefiting from it? Or should we be more like what Kim said in the beginning? Maybe we should make long-term goals for ourselves. For the next 12 months, I'm going to only drink one day out of the month or something to that effect. Or maybe you say once a week. You can start off, I'm going to drink once a week for the first 3 months. Then I'm going to drink three days out of the month for the next 3 months. See, these are easy goals that we can accomplish in contrast to trying to squash it all into 30 days. And then if we're not successful because shit happens, which is, I mean, this is just what life is all about. It happens. I think that we should be having a conversation about trying to give people better options than sticking to this New Year's resolution thing that that the majority of the people are suffering from, not benefiting from. That's basically my answer to what you. I hope that kind of answers your question, Brenda.
Well, so I guess since you are going back to the goals aspect, then why don't you tell us the difference between like goals, what you think the difference between goals and resolutions are? Like, is one based on a time period and another not, from what you were saying?
Yes. But I want to hear from Londa. Londa's our new host, co-host. You know, I want to hear from her, and then I'll jump right back in and answer that for you. Go ahead, Londa.
Oh, I think research doesn't prove that, but I think like when the programming of the resolution, the New Year's resolution, especially when they started in January, is they usually want to stop doing something that's usually a bad habit. But as the young lady said in the beginning, what resolution is possibly their decision to say, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. But I think the mass majority sometimes like just say on this day, on January the 1st of this year, I'm just going to stop doing it cold turkey. I'm not going to try to go to the gym, twice a week instead of hitting it 5 days a week. And then they set themselves up for failure is what I think happens most of the time. And then for like a 12-month calendar or 4 years, like I said, 3 long-term goals and 3 short-term goals because one is easier to achieve than the other. But there's still goals or things that I want to change. And I think conception or mental conception of what they think, like, are you going to the gym for fitness, to live longer, to gain more energy, to get better, or is it just to lose weight? Or do you just want to do it because it's something that you want to do? So I think it's still individual based per se, but the outcomes are different based off the mental and emotional capacity of that person.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. And again, it still boils down to, see, we all are sick in some way or another. We got issues, whether it's self-esteem issues, whether it's insecurity issues, whether, it's overeating, undereating, trying to numb the pain, pains of life. So we drink and we get high, we smoke weed, we smoke cigarettes for nerves. A lot of people say my nerves. Yes, basically self-medicating. We all are guilty of that in some way or another. So when we find ourselves in these holidays, this is what I call them, celebrating these holidays that's supposed to be for joy and love and happiness and the birth of Christ and all that, and then they throw Easter eggs around in there, which ain't got nothing to do with Christ, and then we got New Year's. It's supposed to be about the old, getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. It used to be about the old man and a baby, but you don't see nan one now. And when we talking about New Year's, all you see is party balloons. Christmas is supposed to be about the birth of Christ, but here come this fat white man, that's supposed to come to your house and bring your kids gifts, when you the one giving them the gifts. So now you lying to your kids, and then wonder. Well, let me get off. I feel myself on the soapbox. So let me just get
go ahead. You lied to the kids, and you wonder why they lied to you later. Is that what you're about to say?
Yes.
Oh,
and
so
why they don't and why they don't trust us?
Santa.
Why they don't trust us? You see, as adults, because at some point they're going to discover that this fat white man called Santa Claus ain't real, and then they're going, just like us. If we are in a relationship with somebody and they lie to us for years, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, then after that time span, we found out they were lying to us. How you think you're gonna feel about that person? How are you gonna look at that person?
But is it different, like when you're aware and you know what the truth is, but yet you still, because some of us know what the actual truth is, but yet we still partake in it because in our family is quote unquote traditional. It's like it's a ritual that we've been doing for years. Like before my years on earth, my mom's like, we just been doing this ritual. So now a ritual is kind of hard to break because it's pretty much all you know. So if you go outside of that, what you've been programmed or what you've been taught to do, and you learn something new or you actually learn the truth, it's kind of hard to break away from the ritual per se, even though you know the truth. So it's knowing the truth better than actually doing it. Just partaking in it altogether is just shouldn't be.
I agree 100%, Londa. But only thing I would add to what you just said is that tradition is the sugar-coated term for what's really going on. We are being programmed to celebrate these holidays, programmed. You know, now whether we see, it's hard to accept, and this is just my opinion, okay? It's hard to accept a reality like that, because to accept that reality, it messes with your psyche, you know, because just like any person that has found out that you've been lied to, the next thought that runs through your mind is, what else have I been lied to about? You know, you be wondering, okay, if they lying about these holidays, what the hell else are they lying to us about? And then because we don't want to accept it, or maybe we don't want to face that, or we be like, no, it can't be that, because why would they do that? That's usually what we'll say to ourselves. Why would they do something like that? That don't make sense. And so we push it to the side and we shoo it away and say, no, that can't be real. Because the reality hurts more than the lie. I'm going to have to say that again. Reality hurts more than a lie. And so we accept the lie. And we tell the lie to our children. And then we wonder, again, like I said earlier, why our children don't respect us. Now, guess what? My son respects me. Ever since he was knee-high to a grasshopper, as they used to say back in the day, I've been saying, ain't no damn white man coming in here giving you nothing. Me and your mama about that. So he been knowing there ain't no Santa Claus forever. So guess what? He trusts me. He trusts what I say to him now, because I've never lied to him. You feel what I'm saying? So so if these things aren't sticking with us, you don't think that, like Kim said, or even Londa was saying just a few minutes ago, the long-term goals is not what we should be striving for, instead of these little short resolution things. I'm saying these New Year's resolutions are hurting people. Not all people, but they are hurting people, because people can't sustain these things. And then along with the depressions for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday, now you're depressed because you couldn't stop eating sweets for 30 days.
You really think that these people who stop, or I guess you're saying that the majority of these people,
yes,
that they're going to be really upset with themselves and depressed more and mad about it? That I don't think so. I think people stop doing it. They mess up. Some of them do, like you said, and say, hey, I already ate the cookie. I'm going to eat sweets forever. Some of them eat the cookie, then they don't do it the next day, and they try it. They fall down, they get back up, and they try it again. So, I mean, I guess like you said, you keep talking about majority, but we all know that even some people don't even call them resolutions. Some people just say, you know, it's a new year, I'm going to start doing something different. I'm going to start doing something new. So I don't know. I don't know how we're to choose or find out who's hurting and who's not, and why they're hurting. Is it because, and you know, I mean, I never even thought about that somebody is kicking themselves in the butt because, I mean, I know that they're mad about it, or they hate that they quit, or they couldn't make it through the month or whatever, but necessarily getting into a depression, I guess. It seems to me that lately, in the last few years, depression is a really big thing in the Black community. I'm sure it's always been. It's always been. But if we think about it, we kind of let the world kind of mold around. Well, most people let the world mold them into this thing of depression, because when I feel myself, because we can't get into a funk, but I can't stay in the funk. I mean, but see, I believe in a higher power. I believe in Jesus Christ. And, you know, some people they talk about me because I believe in Jesus Christ. So, you know what? We live our lives. We're going to have to learn, and it is good to help somebody else. I wish and pray and hope that this podcast helps somebody but we got to keep pushing positivity and we got to keep pushing love, because at the end of the day, love is what keeps people up and what keeps, and that's my opinion. But when they see true love, just even when you even said about that you didn't lie to your son, that's love. The bottom line for me is that's love. When somebody dies and the person is having an attack, a panic attack, anxiety all the time, somebody needs to come along and love on them. Somebody needs to come on and support them. We can't just tell people, oh, you not gonna make it through that. Stop doing that. You ain't gonna make it through that 6 months or that. You just playing that. Why you even say that? You're not gonna make that because you was just drunk yesterday. So you can't not be drunk. We can't do that. We got to come along and say, hey, I'm here if you need me, so I can help you through this. So I don't know what we're gonna get out of this tonight.
Brenda, I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. If you think that's what I'm saying,
I didn't say that.
I think she got some good points. I think she got some good points.
You know what? Let me just interject here. And I love you, Ty, but I'm not at you, Ty.
I didn't say you were. No,
you said that. No, you said that I'm not listening. I can't. If I think that's what you said, this wasn't about what you said. This is just what I'm getting from these conversations. It's not about what you said. I just used you talking about love for your son, but I'm not. No, my talk ain't based on what you're saying. This is just my talk.
But if I'm saying that the majority of people are suffering from these New Year's resolutions, and they know they make these resolutions, but they know they're not going to make it through those resolutions, then you turn around and say you can't just say people ain't going to make it through these things and then say I ain't talking about you.
I wasn't talking about you. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Time out. Okay. But I wasn't. It wasn't pointed at you. When I say you, I'm just talking. I'm saying I'm not.
Okay, I'm gonna just be clear about what I'm talking about then. Okay, my bad. You wasn't talking about me. Okay. So what I'm saying here is, and I'm gonna say it again, is that I believe that somebody has to bring awareness. Just like there are a group of people that bring awareness to domestic violence. There are people that bring awareness to homelessness. There are people that bring awareness to things that a lot of people just aren't being aware of. I'm bringing an awareness to there is a, like you said, even Brenda, that in the Black community, depression is on an all-time high. Depression is on an all-time high in the Black community. And what I'm trying to bring an awareness to is that depression is heightened during the holidays. Now, whether it's heightened in the holidays for us on this panel is irrelevant. I'm saying that there are people that are suffering in this world during these holidays, and we are not aware of it. There are people that are suffering because they can't, they don't have the willpower to be able to substantiate, I'm not going to eat red meat for 30 days, or I'm not going to smoke cigarettes for 30 days. And they fall victim to their own, as Londa said it earlier, addictive behavior. And I'm giving solutions by saying that we shouldn't do short term. If I'm talking about people that are depressed, people that are trying to do something about being depressed or trying to change themselves for the better, stop trying to do it in a short term period and stretch that thing out and wean yourself off. Just like an alcoholic, if you're trying to get off alcohol, you're not just going to stop drinking cold turkey. They'll tell you that you will die doing that. They will tell you that. You have to wean yourself off of these things. And I'm saying the same thing about a person that overeats, a person that's into sex, a sex addict or whatever. If you're trying to change yourself, and this is what the Transformation Institute is all about, if you're trying to transform yourself, we need to understand the difference. And you was asking me this earlier, Vanessa, and I'm answering it now. The difference between resolution and goal is that we have been taught that a New Year's, we don't make the majority of us, I should say that. The majority of the people on the planet Earth makes resolutions on January the 1st, because that's what we've been programmed to do. And during that time, between January the 1st, before February the 1st gets here, the majority of the people that made their resolutions have broken them before February 1st. And
but
I'm
just
saying,
like the programming that they did it because you said they were programmed to do it, right? So
yes,
on January the 1st, they're programmed to make a new resolution or a new goal, right?
right.
But most people may fail because they do it out of habit instead of, again, it's not conceptual. They don't really have a great intent. It's something that they want to do. It's something that they may attempt to try to do, but they may just set that resolution out of habit. Like, okay, by the 5th, I done already ate the cake. I might as well eat another piece. Or, I already smoked a cigarette. I might as well go ahead and finish another one. Like, whichever way it may be, that may be the issue, is because, again, they're doing it out of habit or they're doing it out of programming. So, like, when Brenda was saying, I totally get her concept of, it's depression, period. Like, especially in the Black community. And I may have a little bias against it because I work in mental health and addiction. So I see it every day. And the Black community, or your melanated people, are one of the numbers are very low for us to seek help or to get help when it's needed. So I think that those people were already depressed. Maybe a holiday is a trigger for them, but they were already depressed. And usually they're depressed all year round. And some people, especially melanated men, are depressed and don't know it because they don't have a successful outlet in order to let it be known. It's nobody to tell you because they're taught to chin up and chest out, and they're not allowed to show emotion. So sometimes when they're going through a depression, they don't even know what it is. They have an emotion that they can't explain. So I don't think that I'm gonna say January of whatever year is coming, like, is the reason. It's just that they don't know, and it may be that resolution is a trigger of some sort, but I don't think that's the underlying issue.
No, you are very correct. But the awareness. See, this is, again, there's nobody spearheading the awareness of this depression that we are experiencing as a people. I mean, we could say it, gossiping back and forth, man. We could say that, but there's no national campaign identifying why we are so depressed. And stress has a lot to do with
melanated people are the people overall, because I think all melanated people got a reason, because life be lifing. That's why some of us may go into even the temporary thing. But when I'm at work all day, every day, and these people either have a mental health or an addiction to something, it's literally no one. When you ask me in the beginning of my day, hey, Londa, how you doing? Out of habit is to say, oh, I'm good. How are you? But am I really good? Or did I just answer that out of habit? Do I feel like I'm trustworthy to tell you that, now I'm really about to lose and I'm really about to crash out, but I can't show that to tell you that. So a lot of times people, when you say bring awareness, they got to understand the emotion that they feeling already, because people just tell you I'm good, but they not.
Yes.
And nobody actually thinks about the question before they actually answer it. They just answer it out of programming and habit.
Yeah.
So now you don't really know how people feel, and there's no awareness or a safe space for us to actually tell you that, no, I'm not.
Londa, you say you work with mental health stuff. You said that, right? So what can you tell us what it is exactly that you do with that?
I facilitate it. So, for example, y'all are not gonna have no idea unless you Google it what these things mean. But when you go see a psychiatrist or a therapy, they have a PHQ-9, and this PHQ-9 is a survey, and they want to know, in the last 2 weeks, have you had little interest or pleasure in doing things? Have you been
They do
feeling
that at my
down,
doctor's office. They do that
have
at
you
my
been
doctor's
feeling
office.
down, depressed, or hopeless?
Yeah.
Right.
So your
Yeah.
answer is either no, some days, half the days, or nearly every
Yeah.
day. Depending on what your answer is, it's going to trigger some more questions to come along.
Right.
And that's how we get to do that. But some people don't want to share that. But if I'm doing this questionnaire and I'm asking you these questions and you're honestly telling me how it is that you feel, then I can determine based off the score what type of service that you may need, or what may be beneficial, or what I can recommend to you. Do you need to see? They have things called psychotherapy. They have things called psychiatry. Then you got psychological. Like it's different realms of it, but I rarely see melanated people get help when it's needed until they crash out.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, are you a danger to yourself or others? When you get to that question, then it's real serious, right? If you have these invasive thoughts, but most people can't tell you what's wrong because they don't know. Have you ever had a feeling you like, I know I feel weird, but I can't describe it to nobody because I never felt like this before. And then again, the holiday may just be the trigger to, my mom passed 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And even though she passed 22 years ago, it's still a trigger for that person to say, and it's just like somebody that's been sexually assaulted as a kid. A smell of Old Spice may trigger them to that person that harmed me. Yes. And if you give me that trigger, it's like the awareness is not brought to our communities as much per se. I don't think there's a safe space for melanated communities per se. So when you talk about awareness, I can speak on that, but I don't think the depression just comes from January, the holidays, or anything else. I think that depression is just an underlying issue, and the holidays may be a trigger for it.
Yeah, it amplifies it. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Londa.
And so
I agree.
I'm sorry, who was that?
I agree with what Londa said about the triggers for the holiday. I think that we have the resources, but I hate to say it, we just don't want them sometimes. We're still thinking that we're Black people and we're strong. We don't need help. We can take it to God and that's it. And that's not so true. And I think we get the help that we need after the crash out because now it's mandatory. Some of us know something's going on. I could sit on somebody's couch and talk, but we just won't do it because I'm a Black woman. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I'm a Black man. I don't need them to tell me what to do. But with back to the solution part of it, to me, when someone says a resolution, I'm thinking that's more long-term, and sometimes you can set goals to be short-term or long-term. And when you set those goals, it's like, I can do it. If I fall off, let me get back up. If I do fail, so what? If I get back up and try it again, then eventually I'm gonna be okay. Once I start doing something and keep trying to do it, you're going to get it. It's like when you teach someone to ride a bike. When a kid learns to ride a bike, they fall. They get back on the bike and then they start pedaling and eventually they're going to be able to do it on their own. I think when we make these resolutions, our intents and our purpose is pure, but sometimes we fall. But I don't think it's saying, oh, I'm going to fail because I set this resolution. It's all about you. It's what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what everybody's saying. And I really do believe that there should be more awareness to what's happening to people. Even as Londa said, how we're being triggered, and we're constantly being triggered, not just during the holidays. We get triggered, just songs trigger us. It's all kind of stuff, and we need help. And the problem is we don't we don't have any faith or trust in any institution. It used to be the church. We used to trust the church to where we would be able to go to a pastor or whatever, or a counselor in the church or something, and share with them what we're going through, and be able to get some help through the church. That's not happening now. And so, and I think Londa was saying something about, what did you say? Oh, about how, when a person say, hey, how you doing? And then you say, oh, I'm fine. How you doing? See, even that interaction or that interchange is something we've just been programmed to do. The person asking don't really care. Well, I shouldn't say it blanket like that. Most people, I say that. Most people don't give a damn about how you really feeling. This is just a conversation icebreaker type of thing. Because if you really was to tell them the truth and start telling them your problems, they'd be like, oh, hell. It'd be like, damn, I really didn't. They'd be saying to themselves, I really didn't want to know what your problems was. I really don't care, and then they may, after you get through, say, oh, man, that's bad. Then go on to say what they wanted to say. And because people know this, we just go through the motions. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? I'm good. Hey, what's going on? Then you get to your conversation. But people don't care. I mean, this is my personal feelings. And I believe I ain't alone in this. People don't give a damn.
Can I say that just on yesterday, I was at Walmart, and the young lady opened up a line when it was so crowded that I was about to leave. I went to her line and I said, I said, did Jesus just send you here to take care of me? Because I was about to leave. Anyway, she said, she laughed and she said, how you doing? When she, greeted me. And I said to her, do you want to know the real story, or you just asking me? I mean, I've done that to a few people before. I mean, I'm not about to really tell them my story, but I just believe that someday, I believe, because I pray and believe God, and I ask him to help me be a light in someone's eyes. I believe that if we really, I mean, I know everybody don't believe in Jesus or whatever, but I believe that if we intentionally in ourselves want to really help someone, that we'll walk around with something in us. We'll see people, and we all we can do is try. All we can do is say, how you doing? When you see somebody, you'll give them a smile. And if we're intentional and people want to share, I believe that we'll be the catalyst for that. I believe that we can be people that people will just start to say things to. I mean, if we're looking for some sort of solutions, we are the transformation podcast. Something in us need to be wanting to be that, and I'm just talking. I just felt that. I saw Sasa. I saw her say people are judgmental, and they are. And you got to get to a point, because I've heard people say things about me. People will act like I think I'm holier than thou and stuff like that. And guess what? I let that fall off, because I want to be a vessel to help somebody else. So talk about me just as sure as you please. The more you talk, I'm gonna stay on my knees. But I believe that all of us talking, all of us in this. Remember one time I asked, what do we have as a podcast? What do we have that people can come to us? How do we finagle this thing where we're connected in the mind, and we really want to make change in people's lives instead of, and I'm not talking about nobody, I'm just saying, instead of every week we have a podcast, and then when they get off, then what after that? What if there's somebody listening that wants to talk to Londa? What if there's somebody listening want to know what her company does? I mean, we got to make ourselves fit for the master's use. Okay, that's my closing thought, as a matter of fact.
Okay. I like that, Brenda. And I agree
Thank
with
you.
it 1000%. When we first created this podcast, the driving force behind it was that I believe God was helping me to select people that I knew that had a voice, and people that cared, and people that wanted to see change. That's how I picked people to be co-host on this podcast. People that want to see change and genuinely want to help somebody else, you know. And so this is what this podcast is all about, about changing. But we got to change first. See, and that's the whole thing. And when we give our stories on these podcasts, and when we tell our experiences in different situations, people are attracted to that. Now, what normally happens is that, and I'm going to work on that, and we'll talk about that off camera or whatever. Usually, people have, or the podcast has an email where people can email various hosts. Like under your name, it'll say it'll be Brenda at transformationinstitutepodcast.org or something. It'll have your name, and then under that, where people can see where they can email you, like what you was talking about, Brenda. And I believe that that's something that we can, for this new 12-month cycle. I'm not going to say new year, but for this new 12-month cycle, that we can add to the podcast so that people can reach out to us when they have, if they want to have a conversation about something that we've discussed on this podcast. Anybody else have a closing thought?
I have a question regarding to what you just said.
Yes.
If someone emailed that podcast, would it be anonymous or you will actually know who they are?
That's a good question. I don't know. Usually emails, you can't send an email anonymously. I've never known about anybody being able to send an anonymous email.
Because they probably don't want to be known that it's them, but they just might have a private question that they don't want to put out here on the public platform.
I don't know how
reach
anybody
out to someone individually, like maybe picking their brains about their experience or what knowledge they might have.
The only other thing that I can think of that just came to my brain that could probably address what you're talking about, Kim, is a Google line connected to the podcast where people could call that and leave a voicemail message. And that Google line don't necessarily have their name connected to it. They can block their number. You know how people block their number when they call people anyway. I'm thinking that might be a way, but again, we can have a discussion about that and try to figure out the best way to do that.
That could be one of our goals we set for 2026.
For 2026. Amen. That's right. That's right. Okay. So any other closing thoughts on the subject of, New Year's resolutions, why they don't stick? Closing thoughts?
My closing thought is make your goal resolution, whatever you want to call it. Just try to do something different. If it's something you're going through or want to become better at, just try it. You don't even have to give it a name. You don't have to wait till January 1st. You don't have to set a date. I'm going to do this in 30 days. I'm going to do this in 60 days. Just do it. And if you fall, get back up, stick to it. That's all. That's my closing thought.
All right. Okay. Well, you guys, we got like 15 seconds before the show ends. So I thank everybody for being on. Thank you, Londa, for being on. How did you like it? Londa was saying she wasn't gonna say nothing. I already knew it. It don't happen that way. You know, we all have a voice. We all have our thoughts about these different subjects, and we want to express ourselves and share what our thoughts are. And so this is who we are. So, hey, thank you guys for being on. Until next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Please fight or think for a change and fight for peace of mind. All right, peace.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.